All right, so just like we did last week, we talked with Phil, our buddy, about NASCAR. We're going to continue that trend at least through the playoffs. So, Phil, how about this week in NASCAR? What updates you have for us?
Well, man, it was a very competitive race, crazy race, like any type of super speedway.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Typical race. A lot of contenders that were at the top of the point standings are now at
Yeah,
the bottom at the cutoff now. So a lot happened in Atlanta.
yeah. So from what I know, Joey Logano won, and then there was some pretty big wrecks, including like Kyle Larson and Chase Briscoe. What kind of happened? I know it seemed like Larson just went off
Yeah.
the rails. I don't really
Larson
know.
literally just turned the
But
wrong way.
yeah. So what did you see on those couple wrecks?
Well, believe it or not, these cars are hard to drive.
Yeah,
And
Very
that's true.
fair. That's fair.
Fair.
he very loose, and
Mhm.
he went turn two, coming off turn two, and just completely wiped out. I mean,
Okay.
it was
That's
complete wipe.
crazy.
Yeah, because I saw the clip and he was supposed to turn left, but he turned right and he went right into the wall. So that
Yeah,
was not ideal by any means.
the rule is you never turn to the right. You go all every time. So
Yep. It's a good rule, Phil.
Well, and even on his radio, I heard
Yeah.
a clip on
Oh, yeah, you
Larson's
were telling me
radio where
about
he
this.
goes, I don't even know what happened. He was like, I'm not even sure. He's like, I don't know what happened. He's because
Yeah.
I mean, they were literally like on the radio just going like, they're coming around turn two. There goes Larson. He's in the wall. What everyone was like, what
What
happened?
the heck? Yeah.
and believe it or not, these cars they're so air sensitive. So the car in front of them, like they take away the
Sure.
air from
Sure.
somebody, and he just turns the car, and like he has no way of recovering. So that's
Yeah.
probably what happened.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
how fast it can change like that.
So, what I was going to ask you is, so Daniel Suarez did end up placing second. He started in 30th on a super speedway. Is that something that's like common, or is that a pretty dang good race out of Daniel Suarez?
So yeah, so it's common. A lot of guys came from the back in this race.
Okay.
Typically Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta now they're super speedway races. A lot of the guys will sit in the back during the race
Okay.
for most of the race, so they don't get caught up in the big wreck.
Mhm.
And then they'll come to the front at the end. Dale Earnhardt went from 20th to second went from 20th to first in 2 laps
Oh, jeez. Okay.
to win a race,
Whoa.
a restricted plate race. So it's very possible. It's very doable to come from the back and do it really quickly.
Okay.
What makes a super speedway? What's like the length it has to be, just for people that might not know?
So it's not about the length; it's about the speed.
Okay.
So the size of the racetracks are really big, and if they let them have full power, they would be going like well over 200 miles per hour.
Nice.
And what happened was back in 1980 something, I think it was 87, a car flew into the fence and hurt a bunch of fans. They were
Dang.
220 mile an hour, and after that day, they said we got to slow these cars down. And in order to go fast, you have to be close. That's how drafting works.
Mhm.
The closer you are to a car, the faster you're going to go. If you split up and you're in a single car, no one's around you, you're going to be going like 10 to 15 mile an hour slower than
That's
what
crazy.
you would be pack. So you're actually going faster when you're in a pack, and that's what you see at Atlanta now because they had to slow the cars down.
Interesting. That's kind of cool. I did not
Yeah.
know that. I thought it was based off track size.
I kind of thought it was too
made
for some
sense to me,
reason.
but that's
yeah.
pretty crazy. But yeah, good for Suarez. I mean, that's a hell of a race to be able to
Yeah.
come all the way back like that.
All right. Well.
And he actually won the spring race there, so he.
Oh,
Oh
he
yeah,
did. You're
he had
right,
like the
you're right.
super
Uh-huh.
close finish, didn't he?
Yep.
It was like one of the closest finishes ever. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so he had a pretty good run in Atlanta this
Man,
year.
he
for
likes
sure.
that
Yeah.
track.
Heck yeah, he did.
Well, okay, so then obviously with the kind of like we said, the big news, Briscoe and Larson crashing. What does that mean for like standings wise now? Like, because Larson went into the week at number 1, right? And now he got a DNF. Does he get anything from that, or is he literally at a 0 and now people can just catch him?
Well, the thing is this is why I said it was so important to get as many wins and many stage wins as you possibly can in the regular season, so that
Sure.
if you accident in the first round of the playoffs, you have kind of that buffer to go by.
Yeah.
Larson was plus 35 points going into the race. He's plus 15. He was
Wow.
scored 37th finisher, so he got 1 point at the end of it, and he had no stage points, which he could have got. He could have gotten 20 of them, and he literally would have stayed at 35 above if he had finished where he was running. So, yeah, it's very important. I mean, Denny Hamlin was the same way. But he started in the back. He didn't score any stage points the whole time. and he ended up losing a bunch of points, and he's actually on the cut line now. So
Oh, wow.
two away from the cut line. So these guys that had big buffers, they definitely took a definite hurting in the first race for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is wild.
Sounds like it. Well, Phil, what was your favorite part of the race and why?
Favorite part? I gotta say, this is early on in the third stage. They're going about 90 to 80 laps to go, somewhere in that range. Okay. Martin Truex Jr. and Blaney get into a little minor scuffle. Mm-hmm. Got into the side of Truex. Truex got in the wall a little bit. Blaney was able to save it. Blaney was up front all day, so for him to even overcome this and then later on the race finish really well, I thought that was a really good part of the race to save your first round. Yeah,
he did do really well. I was just reading it, said he finished first, second, and third in all three stages total. So that's a definite way to finish out.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and then
cool.
Go ahead.
I said you got that from my notes.
I did, yeah. But it was great notes, Phil.
Okay, so then with the standings obviously being where they are, I've got actually now two questions out as I see them. One, is Briscoe pretty much out of it?
No.
Okay, so he's very much in it, because now they go to Watkins Glen, they go up to the road course, which makes you sad because obviously we heard last week you don't like road courses or street courses. You got something to say there?
I said I don't like attending them in person because you can't see any.
Okay, that's fair.
I enjoy racing, especially at Watkins Glen. But no, listen, if you're still alive we're 3 race rounds, he can win. If he wins, he will. Yeah, you move on to the next round. So yeah, he's still got a chance. 21 points is a lot, but if he does well in the stages and he has a good finish, if he doesn't win, there's a possibility, especially if other people fall out. So don't write him off yet.
Yeah. So is there a cutoff? So obviously you get to the fourth race in this little set. If he's down still 20 points, is it basically you have to win?
Or does a win just supersede points?
Yeah.
So after 3 races, they cut 4, no matter what.
So it's 3 races.
3 races.
Okay,
yes.
I thought it was 4. Okay. So then my question still goes. So after Watkins Glen, say Briscoe's still at that minus 20 points somewhere in there. Is that third race? If he, like Sam said, if he wins it, is he good, or does he if he gets 5th, is he not good enough? Is it really first or second?
Depends on the other people, but if
sure.
Still 20 plus down going into the third race at Bristol, if he wins Bristol, he'll move on.
Okay.
Wins no matter what will move you on.
So does that then mean Logano is into the next round?
Till
no
the
matter
fourth
what.
Race.
Till the fourth race. So okay, I guess I didn't hear that part last week. So the 3 winners, no matter who you are, whatever position you're in, you go on to the next round.
That's right. And if you get 5 playoff points for winning, so that goes for you in the so Logano's going to have 5 playoff points that will carry over into the next round. So he still hasn't win the next 2 races because it'll get more playoff points.
That's what I was going to ask then. I was going to say, do you think Logano then takes it easy, or is there a reason he goes for it? So obviously that answers my question.
Yeah, so he still could, even if he doesn't necessarily need the win, he could take it and still have points for the next round.
Take the points for the next round. That's actually, I like that with NASCAR. That kind of makes sense. Makes Logano still want to at least maybe not push it as hard as he might, but push it pretty well. He wants to go
still
at
wants
least
to be a top 5
finisher, 8, 9 out of 10. At the level he can go, he might not try to wreck someone to whatever. And then my other kind of question, I'm just looking at the standings for fun. Out of everyone here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Fords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Toyotas, and 5 Chevys. Is that weird?
Pretty even.
That's good. It's parity. We need that. We need that. We don't want somebody dominating. And I know the other manufacturers would say the same thing. Definitely love parity in the sport. We definitely have a manufacturer war going on. So it's a very good thing.
And do you think that something like that might bring a Dodge back ever? Or do you think it's pretty much these 3 have kind of gatekeeped the whole sport and it's just these 3 from now on?
So it all comes down to what's called a charter. So basically, a charter is what basically guarantees you into a race each week.
Okay.
You have to purchase it basically from NASCAR, and
Hmm.
if you have a charter, then you're locked in. You're pretty much locked into every race. You're gonna race. And right now, there's a charter war. There's basically 36 of them going on right now, and there's like 38 to 40 teams, and whoever has the most money, will be able to purchase them. There's a lot that I don't know about the charters, but that's what I do know. So, I mean, I think there would be incentive to bring in another manufacturer, but it's going to cost them money to get in because they're going to have to charter.
Sure. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I just remember the Dodge cars, and I remember them just always just looking way cooler than
they did.
everyone else. I don't know why. They just looked different, and they just looked more fun.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. So that means, I mean, like, there's really my other kind of statement I had, and I'll give it back to Sam, was there's really no chopping block. Like, I was thinking, like, looking at the standings.
Well, there could be for if someone has points.
That's what I mean. But I'm saying, like, Hamlin, Gibbs, Keselowski, Burton, Truex, Briscoe are kind of all in that bottom, 5, 6 spots.
Yeah.
That, yes, it's not a good spot to be in, but it really, I mean, like you said, Chase Briscoe could literally go from 16th to 2nd because of a win, or if he just gets second place and wins all the stages and whatnot, he can bounce straight back into the top 5 in one race.
Yeah, well, I would just mention Denny Hamlin again. Like, he rode in the back whether they had a problem or not the whole race. Very unusual of him to do that. Again, if you're not going to score stage points, you better have a good finish because, you got to make up for the loss. And, that's what Hamlin, he's literally +2 right now. And, yeah, you got to score stage points, man. That's where you really advance. And a good finish will get you there as well. But having that backup of the stage points is really what you're looking for.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for listening to the Kinda Athletic podcast. Please like and subscribe to all our social media platforms and make sure to come back next week to hear more from the Kinda Athletic podcast.